I'm Roxie with Roxie's Broadway Breakdown. Welcome back to my channel. And so we have dueling Great Gatsby musicals trying to race to get to Broadway at the same time. In musical theater history, I've never seen this. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened. I've just never personally seen this. Yes, two musicals about the same thing trying to get to Broadway at the same time. I think one already has the edge, but let's break this down. So if you're not familiar with The Great Gatsby, it's based on F. Scott Fitzgerald's novel, The Great Gatsby. It's roughly about a very mysterious, eccentric millionaire that's come back that wants to rekindle his love with his old flame, Daisy Buchanan. Spoiler alert, it doesn't go well. There's a lot of subplots and different characters with their own story. Got a lot of symbolism to it, which I've always liked about The Great Gatsby. His F. Scott Fitzgerald's like meaning and symbolism in the novel. Anyway, I don't know if that'll read in the musicals. That's not for me to deal with. There have been several film adaptations. My personal favorite is the 1974 with Robert Redford. I think he made the perfect Gatsby. But in 2013, Baz Luhrmann did a film adaptation starring Leonardo DiCaprio. So now there are musical adaptations, and I'll even talk about a third. But right now, last fall at the Paper Mill Playhouse, which is sometimes a launching pad for Broadway productions, there was one that was directed by Mark Bruin, that starred Jeremy Jordan. Music was by Jason Howland and Nathan Tyson of Paradise Square fame. Dominic Kelly choreographed. He has a long resume. The music was a bit like jazz pop contemporary from what I understand. I read a couple of reviews, and from what I understand, other reviews were a bit mixed. So maybe they've tweaked it, but a couple days ago they got the green light for Broadway. So they're already there. They're going to be at the Broadway Theater starting in the spring. So they got under the 23-24 deadlines for Tony noms. So they're there. They're good. The other production is by Florence Welch of Florence and the Machine. She did do a song for Baz Luhrmann's movie. And she said she's just always liked this book, this story. There's something special about it that I don't know, that resonates with her. And so she's paired up with Thomas Bartlett for the score. And she's assembled Rachel Shavkin of Hadestown to direct and Sonia Tay to choreograph. And they are doing their first like pre-Broadway production this spring at the American Repertory Theater, which means they wouldn't really be looking at like Broadway production till summer or fall of this year, which puts them in the 24-25 season, Broadway season. So what this sets up is you could have the Great Gatsby production of Jeremy Jordan getting some Tony noms if it's worthwhile and running on Broadway. And then you could have Florence Welch's production coming along and maybe running simultaneously, or you know, if one closes then they run back to back. I don't know, it sets up an interesting dynamic for me to look at. Broadway is so competitive right now for theater goers, and where they put their money, these tickets are so expensive, and it's like, you know, do people want to see two productions of Gatsby? Maybe, sure. If one isn't so good, do they want to go, well, let's try this one. Maybe the second one's better. If they're both great, it might be worthwhile to go see both. But if they're, you know, both playing and people, you know, are just there as tourists and people are like, I only really need to see one production of The Great Gatsby. Which do they see? I don't know. it raises some interesting questions for me of having sort of these dueling productions of The Great Gatsby, and if they're going to be on Broadway at the same time, or they're going to sort of bookend each other. I don't know. I've just never seen this happen before. I can't think of a time. It'd be interesting to go research the history of that and see if it's ever happened. And there was a third production this past fall. It came from London. London had a very successful run of it for several years. It was like an immersive production. It ran at the Park Central Hotel in New York. They used it as like Gatsby's mansion. And so they asked theater goers to come in costume and sort of dance and mingle with the actors. I don't know if that was pre-show or post-show, because the novel doesn't just take place in Gatsby's mansion. I mean, they go all over the place, and like I say, there's other characters. So I don't know if they did the musical like in one room of the mansion and then you were allowed to just go all over. But I would have come in full flapper attire. I think that would have been intriguing to go see that. So let me know what you think. Would you go see 2 Gatsbys? But let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyway, don't forget to click and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next.